Let me know if this situation sounds familiar to you. Find yourself going to the thrift store and you have to go and touch every single piece of item. You have to look at every single tag in the store in order to find some pieces. And even though you're spending hours and hours searching for items to resell for your Poshmark or for eBay or whatever platform you're selling on, you only come out of the store with a few pieces and you just feel like you're wasting time sorting through a bunch of junk. Maybe you are spending full days like I do, where I drive into a whole other town about an hour and a half away because I don't really have any local sourcing spots that are top-notch or anything, and I still find myself coming home empty-handed. It can feel like such a waste of time and just really feel like you're not getting ahead or being able to grow your reselling business the way that you'd like to. This is so common. It's probably one of the most common issues that I hear other resellers say, is that they just simply do not have the time or patience to be spending hours and hours looking for items to resell at the thrift store or wherever you guys go to source. And that is why I am here today with Vendoo to share some tips on how to use Vendoo's analytics to help you make better buying decisions for your reselling business and make more profit. Hello, if this is our first time meeting, my name is Karina. I am also known as Per Diem Thrift here on YouTube, Instagram, and Poshmark. I am a full-time reseller. I've been reselling on and off for the past 11 years, and I also have my own brick and mortar consignment store. And in order for me to grow from just being a hobby part-time seller into now being a full-time reseller who owns a full-on functioning brick and mortar consignment store, is that I paid attention to analytics and paid attention to what kind of items bring in the most profit and what kind of items I should be avoiding. If you came into reselling because you just love the thrill of the hunt, this tip may not sound that great to you because it kind of lessens our need to go thrifting and search through the entire store. I still have those times where I head to the thrift store and I just want to look for things, so I will go through every single piece of clothing that I can touch. However, there is definitely a more efficient way. If you're able to study your own analytics from what you've been selling and what you've done in the past, you actually have a way stronger, more efficient tool than searching up comps on any platform. By taking your own analytics, you are seeing what you're capable of, what you know is proven to be true for yourself and your reselling business, and then you can take that data and just copy and paste and keep going until you have grown your business into something that is sustainable and something that brings in a lot of profit. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a quick walkthrough of Vendoo's analytic page. If you guys haven't used their analytics, I think it can be really helpful to help you see what brands you should be reselling and also what platforms can be the most profitable as well. Back in the day when I first started reselling, we did not have programs like this that just did all of the work for us. Unfortunately, we would have to track all of our inventory and all of our sales data ourselves and make all these pretty graphs and charts with Excel or with the Google Docs, and I'll be the first to admit that I am not skilled in that area. So when Vendoo came out with these analytics a few years ago, it was absolutely game-changing, and it has been a huge help in helping me grow my reselling business. But before we get into these tips, I want you to make sure that you are subscribed to Vendoo's channel. They put out videos every Friday sharing tips and tricks on how you can grow and scale your reselling business. So like I mentioned before, learning and understanding the analytics for your specific reselling business is going to help you make better buying decisions, even better than just looking up market comps. There are a lot of questions I know that newer resellers have when they're first starting out, like how much am I supposed to price items for? How much should I be buying items for? Is this worth it? What kind of profit should I be looking for? And honestly, all of those questions have really personal answers. My answers may be different than yours, and that's why it's really good to understand your own analytics so that you can see if what kind of profit you're producing is going to be sustainable and actually help you make a living out of reselling, so that if you do ever want to make the jump into becoming a full-time reseller, you will actually be able to make that happen. But before I show you my actual analytics, I just want to preface this by saying that towards the end of the year, I wasn't actively inserting my sales data, and so that's why there is a significant drop in sales, but I still was reselling, and this is just proof to show that it's really important to stay on top of inputting all of your sales, not only because it'll help you read your analytics, but also it'll help you if you are cross-listing, make sure that those items get delisted and they won't double sale on other platforms, which is something that I unfortunately neglected to do at one point, and so I suffered the consequences. Anyway, let me go ahead and show you guys some of my analytics on Vendoo. Alright, so here I've pulled my analytics from all of last year, and like I said, you can see there's like a downward trend. These are not accurate, but I wanted something to show you guys so that I can show you how Vendoo's analytics can really help. But anyway, as you can see, this is an overview of what the analytics offer. Here you can see the revenue and profit from everything that you've sold across all platforms that you cross-list on, and this can be really nice just to see, again, trends that are similar throughout the years or through different months. And this also helps you plan. Like if you know that you're going to be entering a slow season, it might be good to lessen your spending. On the other case, if you know that you're going into busy season, like Q4 is usually really busy, and that's probably why I didn't end up adding anything into Vendoo. It just got really busy in my store and online as well, so I wasn't utilizing Vendoo's full capabilities. But then, like I said, if you have a busy season coming up, you can kind of stock up inventory for that, or just plan to possibly be making more and profiting more. To the right of your overall revenue and profit, you can see your summary here, so you can see how many items were sold versus how many items were listed, and these are also compared to what you did in the previous term or previous season. It'll show, for example, here what I did last year, but if you had like a day-to-day analytics showing, then you can see kind of like how many items you list per the previous day. And then here, I think this is probably one of the most important pieces of data that you will see on here, and that is your average sale price. Now, your average sale price is the price that an item sells for on a platform. That doesn't necessarily mean that that is your profit. You can also kind of see here that when you input all of the data, including your cost of goods, onto Vendoo, then you'll be able to see how big or how small your profit margins are. And I think that that is one of the key factors into determining whether or not you are a successful reseller, because sales can be, $1 million, you could be a six-figure seller, but if your cost of goods are six figures, then it's not as impressive. So you might definitely want to make sure that your sales are giving you a good cushion and a good profit. Moving down, you can see here that there is this chart that shows you how much revenue and profit you are making on every platform. Now, I do kind of dabble in a bunch of different platforms, as you can see here. However, my biggest chunk is going to be on Poshmark. As you can see in these charts, Poshmark is majority of what I sell on. So you can see I am making the most revenue, and I'm also making the most profit on that platform. But this is a great way to determine whether or not you should continue on a platform or whether you should maybe let a platform go. Vendoo makes it super easy to cross-list onto different platforms. However, like for example, I noticed here that Depop and Mercari just weren't really cutting it, and so I cut those out of my cross-listing schedule while I am busy. During slow seasons, I'll probably go back and start cross-listing onto those platforms again. But like I said, this is why it's really important to see your analytics, and when you have graphs like this, it helps make those decisions easier, because obviously I want to spend more time on Poshmark if that's where majority of my money is coming from. On this side, you can see here you have top selling categories, and mine is obviously going to be clothing, shoes, and accessories, because I am a clothing reseller, specifically women's clothing. And then come down here to top selling subcategories, you will see as well some more specific categories. This is important if you are limited on time while you're sourcing. you can see what categories or what subcategories you are selling the most of, and that's probably what areas of the thrift store you're going to want to be focusing on. So here it says that my top selling categories in the year of 2022 were dresses, tops, sweaters, boots, and jumpsuits and rompers. If you highlight over, or if you like put your mouse over each one, it'll tell you how many items were sold in that category and what the total sales were in that category as well. This is really interesting to me because I know for a fact that I love selling dresses and I love selling shoes, and this kind of shows right here that dresses are my best-selling category. Tops, on the other hand, I don't love selling, and I don't think that I pick up a lot, but it says here that I did sell quite a few. So this is really good data to have as well. Moving down to this section, it says top selling brands. Now this almost never changes for me because these are definitely the brands that I pick up the most of. Free People is my top selling brand, and I take this information here and I mix it in with what categories, and so that kind of helps me make buying decisions as well. So I know that probably Free People dresses probably do really well, Free People tops and sweaters, shoes, and jumpsuits and rompers. Those are pretty accurate, I think. And then also Lulu's, Lululemon, Anthropologie, and Levi's are also some of my best-selling brands. So yes, if you can get this data off of Vendoo, this is going to help you make better decisions. Usually these categories and brands are also going to indicate things that you find often. So if you know that you can find a lot of good jackets or a lot of good jeans, a lot of good shoes, that will probably show up on here as well and be a good indicator of what you should be reselling to maximize your profits. And then moving on to this left side, it's kind of just adding on to what these graphs were up here, and these are just showing average sales by marketplace. My average sale on Poshmark is $41.80, but my average sale on Depop is $150, and I think I only made like 2 sales on Depop. So it's just really interesting that I decided to let go of Depop. Even though I made high sales on there, I wasn't making a lot, and it was really taking more energy and more time to cross-list things onto there and really be choosy about what I was putting on there. So I decided to just drop it. I know that that might not be what everyone would do in this case, but this is definitely something that I felt I was more comfortable with. Moving down, there's also total number of sold items on each marketplace, and as you can see, most of my items were sold on Poshmark. And other down here is things that I probably sold in my store that I just had in my inventory on here, so I wanted to knock it off of here. But that is a full overview of the analytics here on Vendoo, and these are definitely things that you should be paying attention to. You can also customize the time, filters up here to just look day by day, month by month, or a full year like I did on this example. Analytics can be super daunting when you're first looking at them and don't really know what to look at, or maybe you don't have a lot of information to feed Vendoo so that it can create these graphs. But over time, once you start putting in more information, it'll be able to give you a better read on how your business is doing. You definitely want to pay attention to how much you're making in specific categories. We're gonna use my analytics for example. My average selling price was $41.65. We're gonna round down a little bit to make it a little bit easier. So we're gonna see that my average selling price is $40. And if, for example, I'm selling that on Poshmark, after the 20% selling fee, I'm left with, I believe it's $32. So now knowing that I am making, after Poshmark fees, $32, I have to kind of figure out how much I'm willing to spend on an item to get that amount of money. Now, I personally like to pay up for some things, so I won't pay up higher than $20 unless I know I'm going to get at least $40 in profit on top of, cost of goods, platform fees, and all of that. So it all just depends on what you're comfortable selling with, how much you want to be making per item, because remember, we still have to photograph and list and store and do all of this work to get one item sold. So you'd want to make sure that you're not just like profiting $5 or something, because it is a lot of work and we should value our time, and obviously we want to make the most profit and be the most efficient in our business. But I hope that all of that information was really helpful for you. If you guys have any questions about analytics, drop them down below in the comments and we'll do our best to get back to you. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!